wish that there was someone who could just tell me it's okay to accept favors, it is okay to accept gifts, it is okay to accept help. It would have helped me avoid certain things, but again, you live and you learn. What's up, seashells? It's Shelby and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, as you can already see by the title, I will be talking to you guys about, just things I wish my mother would have told me or taught me when I was growing up. Little backstory, I grew up with my dad. Full stop. That's the backstory. So before I even hop right all into that, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. And if you're interested in what I have to say, then make sure you keep on watching. And without further ado, let's just hop right into it. So as I was saying, I grew up with my dad and he did a fantastic job with me. Let me tell y'all that he ate down with that one little thing. So that is my disclaimer. He did an absolutely amazing job. However, there are just certain things that you would definitely want to hear from a woman, especially your own mother. So first thing I will start off with is it's a little bit traumatic to me. I'm not going to lie, because all of my friends, or like 95% of my friends, all grew up with their mothers. I was an exception. I grew up with my dad, and I think I was one of the only persons out of all of my friend groups that grew up with their dad. So it's a little bit strange, and sometimes when I would go to their house and then when their mother talk about certain things, and I'm like, I could never talk to my dad about anything like this because it's just kind of weird. Honestly, the first thing that started happening to me that I felt very awkward about was yeast infections. When that started happening, it was kind of like, all right, something is going on. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to tell my dad that this is going on. Like, how can I fix this by myself? So that's when I start going on YouTube. That's when I start Googling everything. Like, okay, I am having XYZ symptoms. What does this mean? Oh, okay. Sometimes Google tell us they have cancer or you're probably soon dead or something like that. Yeah, so a lot of those things started coming up. Eventually, I had to tell him, to the doctor, do all that stuff. It was just still so hard, and the worst part is I went to a man doctor too. So it's like I already had such a hard time telling my dad about the situation, and now I'm at a male doctor. Honestly, I don't remember if there were any good female doctors at the time, and I think that doctor was recommended to him by a female. So in Canada, I didn't really have a problem with the doctor, but it's like another man that I have to explain to what's going on, and I don't know how to explain these things. And here it is, a man tried to tell me more about my body than myself. I just want to hear these things from a woman. I just want to hear these things from a female. At the time, I didn't know that if your drawers not dry properly, you can get an infection. If you wash your clothes and you hang them up inside and they don't get sunlight and all that bacteria, it's dried out from the sun and all that stuff, you can get an infection. If your diet is not right and you're not drinking enough water and you're not washing your butterfly properly and you're not using unscented soaps and you're not doing this and you're not doing that, you can get an infection. You can get it from literally almost anything, and some people are more sensitive than others. It was just a lot. It's not like me and my dad had this conversation where he could tell me these things because, okay, oh, am I gonna know that? He's not a female, and again, it's awkward. It's weird for you to just sit down and be telling a girl about her body like that. Like, sometimes he would try, but I don't want to hear it, and we both know that the vibe's weird. Like, we don't want to talk about that, so let's just not. Let's just not. And I felt like YouTube and Google were my best friends, so that happened. One thing that I just had to get used to and try to do my own research on, and it was really embarrassing because who am I going to ask these things? I'm not gonna ask my friends, because it's like, what if my friend would feel like I'm weird because I don't know if this is happening with them as well, or if it's just me. What if something wrong with me? It was a lot, but that was the first thing. And when we talk about infections, my period, when that started, I remember I was not even home. I was at a family friend's house and I was taking a shower. While I was bathing, like earlier, before I went to have that shower, I realized I was having a little bit of cramps or anything. Me not think so a period. Me I think so me hungry or something. I guess that hit me. Like, that's what I'm thinking. But when I'm bathing and I'm wiping and I realize that I'm seeing something brown, like a deep red, and I'm like, what is this? What is happening right now? You know, the first person I call? My dad. Because who else am I going to call? So I'm calling this man and I'm telling him, Daddy, I think my period just started because I'm in the shower and, you know, I'm wiping and wiping and wiping, and I know I didn't cut myself because I know this is TMI, but one time I had an incident like that where I don't remember what I was doing in the shower. I ended up cut myself and it was bleeding, and my stepmom at the time thought that it was my period. But then when, you know, I finished drying up and everything, I'm gonna go looking at the mirror, I was like, oh no, it's actually cut, like 2 little cut there, so it's not my period. So he was like, you sure it's not a false alarm? And I'm like, nope, this is not a false alarm. My belly hurt me, all these things. So he got somebody to come because he couldn't come to me at the time, but a female was there in the house where I was showering. I mind you, I know her and everything. So she gave me a pad and, you know, was kind of explaining some things to me, and like I just couldn't believe it. I really just could not believe it that I basically stepped into a new era of my life. I don't know how to explain it, but I just felt like I went from being naive to not so naive. I don't know the drastic change that happened right then and there when that lady gave me that pad and was explaining stuff to me, and I was feeling these cramps and I was having all these emotions and I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know why I'm so miserable. I don't know why my belly hurt me. I don't know any of these things, and it's just so annoying that I did not have my own mother to tell me these things. Before you even ask, she was living in another country. We weren't close, so yeah, that's the reason. The pressure was getting worse. So as the periods went by, I had to start figuring out which pads were for me. Some pads never grew with me, some pads itched. Some pads, I didn't know that you had a difference between the ones with wings and the ones without wings. I started getting into panty liners. I didn't even know what a tampon was at the time. You know, I never have nobody to teach me something. I had to run to Google and YouTube every single time, and it was just like, oh, this is so exhausting. I'm like, why am I gonna just have somebody that could tell me all these things instead of me just having to figure out stuff on my own? And again, you know, I'm starting to feel all these feelings. I don't know why I'm so emotional, all that stuff. The hormones. I didn't know how to deal with the hormones. I didn't know it was linked to my period. You know, I didn't know about PMS. I don't know about none of these. Nobody was there to tell me. My dad can probably know textbook stuff about menstrual cycles and all that stuff, but he'll never know exactly what it feels like to have a period. He'll never know what it feels like to have those cramps and to be bleeding out of my vagina. Him telling me, oh, it'll be okay, it annoyed me more than anything, because it's like, you'll never understand. Why are you telling me it's gonna be okay? Like, it's not gonna be okay. I just want somebody to hug me and tell me that, you know, they understand exactly what I'm going through and how I should go through it. You know, so, but yeah, you just live and you learn. Another thing when it came on to all these big feelings and emotions, you don't know, said it's all is in high school now. And you know what comes with high school when you're a teenager? Boys. This was when it got awkward. This was when it got really awkward. And this is when I started being a lot more secretive with my life. So me and my dad have a very, you know, open relationship. I tell him most things that goes on in my life. See that one little thing? If boys were involved, I don't know what you're talking about. I never had anybody to tell me that boys are dumb. I didn't have anybody to tell me that boys are manipulative. I didn't have anybody to tell me that the older guys in 11th grade will come look you off and tell you sweet things in your ears and make you feel like you're the prettiest thing in the world, just so they can get you to do things with them, and then they'll just push you to the side. I didn't know that I could have been exposed to harassment or assault in high school. You know, there are a lot of incidents that happened that I just didn't understand why it happened, why guys would do those things to me, why guys would treat me that way. I didn't know that if a guy told me that they really liked me and what they like about me, that I shouldn't listen because they're lying and they don't know what they're talking about. So I just didn't have anybody to knock sense into my head about little dirty teenage boys. They're literally just boys. They don't have sense. Shelby, why are you taking them seriously? Go school, go have fun. I really wasted basically my entire high school experience hung up on one guy. I don't know. I thought that was gonna be my high school sweetheart. I thought we were gonna make it out in college. I thought he was gonna be my love of my life, but life slapped me in the face and that didn't work out. I had very high expectations. Luckily, I wasn't easily influenced, didn't give in to peer pressure easily. So if guys wanted certain things from me, certain intimate things from me, I was not doing it. The reason is also because, you know, when your parents threaten you and say, you know, if you're having sex, they're gonna take you to the doctor and the doctor is gonna find out if you're a virgin or not. Yeah man, that did kind of in my head too, but at the same time I just was not interested in doing none of that, so I didn't. It was just my own morals and I don't know, child, it just never happened. But a lot of things I wish she was there to tell me, and it would have helped me avoid certain things. But again, you live and you learn. Just have to ball it out, but just have to be depressed for a little while and then bounce back. And yeah, that's another thing. Why do women always have to be strong all the goddamn time? Like, why don't I get a handbook? Why don't I get a mother-daughter handbook of, you know, you tell me all the experiences you had to go through when you were in high school, when you were a young adult, all the experiences you had to go through, so I don't make the same mistakes. You know, like, why do I have to go through all the same things when you could have gave me the blueprint and I could have avoided some of these things? Like, why you have to make me learn the hard way? I feel the trauma away. Another thing that I wish I would have learned is to take more pride in my appearance. You know, my father always tell me to comb my hair and make sure my hair is well kept, etc, etc, etc. But I was never a girly girl, and I think deep down I wanted to be a girly girl, but I never got the chance to be a girly girl, so I was just very tomboyish. I just did not care about my appearance. I knew I was pretty. I knew I could put myself together when the time came, but on a day-to-day, I looked homeless most of the time. And a lot of times my classmates, especially my guy classmates, them see me when I'm running errands and they're like, Shelby, lad, you can't put on something better than that. And I'm like, if I'm going to a party, I'm gonna look better, and you know that too, but why am I need to do that if me just like to run errands? And that shouldn't have been the case. Like, I'm supposed to look good all the time. I wish I had put a little more effort into my appearance, and the thing is, I carry that same attitude now, especially throughout college. Listen, in college, I wish I was giving fits. I wish I actually cared about my appearance. I think it was in second year, I started to put in a little bit of effort in my appearance. My eyebrows are done every day. Mind you, I don't know how to do makeup, but my eyebrows were done every single day. First year, for like a week, I made sure to put effort into my outfits and I was looking cute. And afterwards, I had this one Fenty slide. When the Fenty furry slides them come out, I wore that every day. Every single day. At one point, people did ask me, you know, I have no more shoes. Of course I do, but why? I'm not trying to impress anybody. But girl, it's not about impressing anybody. It's literally just wanting to feel good in yourself. Just didn't care. My hair never combed, my nails were never done, not even like a polish for my toe, nothing. I was just such a plain Jane. I was never that girl who had the Bath and Body Works spray, the Victoria's Secret underwear. I didn't have any matching underwear sets, nothing like that. I was a very plain Jane, and I think that has a lot to do with why I didn't have as much confidence back then as I do now. You know what they always say, when you look good you feel good. A lot of times I wasn't looking good, so I was not feeling good. I really did not take enough pride in my appearance and my hygiene. Mind you, I never green, I never smell bad. I was just very basic. Number one, Dove deodorant, and that's good to go. To be really honest with you guys, you see when Dossier reached out to me and started giving me all these perfumes, that's when I actually started taking an interest in scents and having a signature scent. Because before I didn't care. I probably had one perfume, which was my Rihanna perfume, and I wore that everywhere, but I didn't I didn't care to go out of my way to get other perfume. I didn't care to go out of my way to get scented lotion and all that stuff. I never care for comb my hair. Even recently, you know, some will pop off this week and just put on a beanie, or more just there with my mud head every single day. I don't think it's something that I will easily break out of, especially getting my nails and toes done all the time. This is something very new. This is not something that I always do. A lot of it came from me being a content creator and stuff, because you know, people reach out to me, hey, I want to do your nails, hey, I want to do your lashes, hey, I want to do this for you, want to do that for you. And it became a consistent thing. And you know, when it became a consistent thing, I started liking how I felt, because I felt very put together. I felt very feminine, like my feminine energy was radiating, and I loved it. So even when I stopped getting, you know, all the freeness and all the free pampering and stuff, I still felt like I wanted to keep up with getting pampered. I always wanted to have my toes done, at least, like even if these are not done, my toes had to be done. But I really like the idea of feeling good, having that signature scent. You know, sometimes when I see some people, or I have some friends or associates or whatever, and every time I go around them, they smell so good. And you know, when you're looking at them bag, them have them perfume, them have them little travel size this, them little travel size that. And when you're looking at Shelby bag, God bless if you see a lip gloss in there. Things are so embarrassing to say sometimes, but you know, your girl works on it. Your girl be carrying the things that she's supposed to carry now, and there's something there. I'm becoming more feminine. As I get older, I want to take care of myself more. I care a lot more about my appearance now, and I just feel like I always want to look put together, because as I said, once you look good, you feel good. Literally did this makeup for no reason today, and I decided, you know, I might as well film a video. I was literally looking for somewhere to go because I feel like I look too good for staying at the house. You know, I still have not gotten to that point where my hair is done every week or whatever. This is why I wear glueless wigs. I think this kind of bounces off the same topic of, you know, appearance and hygiene and all that stuff. Another thing that I wish I was taught or told more: affirmations. I really wish in high school I had someone to tell me that I was beautiful or I was still pretty, no matter my size. I was bullied a lot in high school because of how slim I was. I'm never have no bottom, I'm never have no breasts. I didn't have all the assets that make women women. Of course, initially when you just go to high school, those things don't matter because you're a kid and who cares? But then, you know, the older kids start filling out in them clothes and all that stuff, and then you still look, you know, like a child. And then everyone starts pointing it out. You know, when people start pointing out things about you every single day, you start to say, you know, all right, maybe something is actually wrong with me, and maybe I do want to fix this. To the point where I was stuffing tissue in my training bra and all these things. And why was I doing that? Why was I doing that? Shelby, you're wishing for something that you'll never have. You were not built that way. It's not in your genes. Learn to love and accept who you are. I just wish I had someone to drill that in my head every day, instead of just having to deal with it and having to try to mask how I feel every day and have to tell people about them what's it and that's it, because they wouldn't leave me the alone. It took me a very long time to start loving myself and not care what people think at all, and looking at the mirror every day and saying, bitch, you's a bad bitch. You don't need nobody to tell you who you are. Like, do you see you? Do you see you? Anything that you don't like, if you want to change it, you're gonna have to work towards it. If it's something you can't change, then why are you crying over it? You cannot cry over things you cannot control. But if you can control it and you see a way to fix certain things, then get up off your butt and go fix it. But you cannot just sit down and complain about something and be like, oh, I'm so insecure about this and I can't change it. Get used to it and learn to embrace it. Fake it till you make it. If you tell yourself that you're happy with how you look, you know, so eventually you will be fine with how you look and you won't care what other people have to say. So yeah, there's that. Another thing is the cooking, the cleaning, domestic stuff. Probably 3 to 4 years ago is when I learned how to cook. My father's a chef in my eyes, but the thing is, he really did baby me and he didn't make me cook much. He would just do everything for me. Even if I started, he would just finish it and be like, come on to the kitchen. Yeah, take too long, let me just do what I'm doing. All right, fine. When I came to Kingston and I had to live by myself and I had to do everything by myself, it was very hard. I didn't know how to do anything. Once again, Google, YouTube, best friends, And a lot of times I used to call daddy and be like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? Girl, I did not even know how to hold a knife properly. You know, some people can clean. I'm just not one of those persons. No proper deep cleaning. I just can't do it. I feel like that's something that I should know how to do. I should know what products are good for this and all that stuff. But again, I gotta go on YouTube and Google for everything. I don't have no grandmother, I don't have no mother, I don't have no auntie for me to call and be like, how do you do this? I've never grown up and watched anybody do stuff like that. Girl has been through it. If I don't overwash clothes, thank God for my helper that I had, because you know, she used to wash my clothes and all that stuff. But then one day I think I asked her if I could wash my clothes, or she said she was teaching me how to wash my underwear and stuff. So big up she. Rest in peace, Miss Joyce. You did a big one with that. But yes, stuff like that is really hard, especially when you get into an actual relationship for adult years, and say for example you're living with your partner and you're not going to want to order food every single night. Girl, if you can cook, and even if girl not cook for yourself, at least more often know me can cook for the man. Just saying, just little stuff like that. And I remember like one time I was trying to clean something and it never cleaned good, and you know, me get cussing feet, and I'm like, well, if you taught me how to clean it properly, then I would have been clean properly. But you ain't tell me how to do anything. You just tell me if I go clean it, I'm gonna clean it, and it not clean good. I know you cuss me. Like, who's the problem here? It's not me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still learning. I know I'm in my mid-20s, but dear God, cut me some slack. I'm trying to do all these things by myself. I'm trying to be independent, get my own money, so I don't have to leech off on no man. One thing about my father, I make sure to plant it in my head since I'm young. Don't take nothing from nobody. You know the drill. I am very independent and I can do stuff for myself. I know how to make my own money, etc, etc. But I it's okay to accept these things without seeming like you're leeching off people. I don't know how to accept things. I think I also said this in my last video that I'm still learning how to accept things, because I just feel like I'm too independent and I would just want to do everything by myself. Because of that, and because of course of what my dad told me, you know, stick it in my brain, I feel like I have been exuding too much masculine energy and I don't like it. I don't know how to just be a girly girl and be like, oops, dropped my tissue on the floor, and let a man pick it up and give it to me. No, if I drop that shit, I'm gonna go pick it up and do what I have to do. I just want to be my feminine energy. I don't want to have to do too much. I want to be a damsel in distress. I don't know, I just wish I got the tea on all that. I just wish I got the tea on how to do that. I always talk about girls with daddy issues turn out a certain way. People don't be talking about girls with mommy issues enough. It was very hard also, you know, being surrounded by your friends who are saying, oh, their mother is their role model, their grandmother is their role model. I don't have no female figures or no mother figures in my life to look up to. If anything, I just did yet woman. Me and no woman could have get along, because I don't have no mother for tell me what to do, and you are not my mother, so why should I listen to you? Why should I listen to anything another woman has to say if my own mother can't tell me what to do? After a certain amount of years, there's nothing that lady could tell me and I would listen, because where were you all the other years when my father was raising me? I just did not care for the opinions of other females, because I just felt like they didn't know me. I felt like they weren't in a position to give me any advice or tell me what to do, because I just wanted to hear those things from my own mother. It just didn't work out that way. For a very long time, I was very upset with my mother for a lot of reasons. You know, even all these reasons that I just shared with you, that, you know, I wish certain things were different. But sometimes you have to really look, and I think because I'm older now, some things I can understand, and in some ways I am somewhat empathetic. You just never know what a woman is going through. You don't know what their mindset is at. You know, you don't know if I was ready to be responsible for any kids. They're probably still figuring out life. They were probably too young to be giving the advice that you wanted. they were probably in a messed up situation, and they felt like you weren't old enough to understand, or they couldn't explain it to you. It could just be so many things. You just really never know what women go through. And a lot of times when I see mothers having relationships with them kids, some mothers are very careless, and you know, you have deadbeat mothers, but other mothers, I think some of them just don't know any better, and in their own way they're trying the best that they can. So sometimes if you have a miserable mother, or you feel like your mother is nitpicking at you for everything, you just never know what's going on in her life. I'm not the person to give maternal advice, or I don't know that stuff. Y'all can't ask me. I'm just giving y'all my experience. That is it, and that is all. And yeah, those are just a couple of the things that I wish I was taught or told by a mother figure, and I just had to learn it on my own, and I think I'm fine. Obviously I have some mama issues, but you know, nevertheless, I'm still living. I'm not sad about it. It's just an unfortunate situation, and I am over it. I just felt like it was something I could share with you guys, and maybe you guys can relate. And yeah, I felt like I chatted a lot tonight. Tell me some things or some really good tips or advice that your mother actually did tell you. I would love to hear them in the comments below. Once again, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.